On today's video, I want to show you guys the importance and the simplicity of actually learning to use a channel strip. So it doesn't have to obviously be this particular channel strip. You can use any channel strip that you currently have, but my one is actually learning it and knowing what you can achieve with it. Let's go. So if you're new to the channel, don't forget to like and subscribe. And obviously, if you want to join my membership to learn all about mixing, hit that button below and join. I've got a couple of, full mix breakdowns and also some, mixing principles. If you also like me to mix your song, do, DM me or book me directly on engineers.com/Zany Pro. Also, you can obviously, message me on Insta at Zany Pro 1 if you want to discuss about mixing or even mix consultations and stuff. So you can also check out my pay hips to see, if you want to buy my presets and, mix templates. I'm still adding more there. So yes, let's get on this video. So this is the channel strip that I've used on here. Let's just have a listen to this vocal, and the only thing I'll turn off is this channel strip. You see how the mix obviously fell apart. Let's have a listen quickly.
Come between the two of us, so no one else will ever take your place. Come between the two of us, so no one else will ever take your place.
So what have we done, or why am I talking about this? Why is solely because most mixes that I see these days, this is what you see. If we get Fat Filter Pro Q, what you see is, things like this. So this looks kind of horrible in the eye. Bruh. Obviously, I'm not saying it's wrong, but it's just that sometimes it doesn't have to be this complicated, especially when the mix is well recorded, right? Then you don't need this. But we have normalized it in a way that every mix that you see or mix breakdowns, this is what you see. No one obviously now think about, back in the 80s, the 70s, the 60s, even early 2000s and 2000 and maybe even 5, we didn't have so many of these tools, right? A lot of people obviously relied on a console, and this is what they have, and they were able to craft a great mix. So that's why sometimes it's good to obviously go back to basics. So let me turn this off. I also use, Fab Filter Pro Q3, Pro Q4, whatnot, or, the digital EQs, do my notches and stuff. But I have to be intentional. Like, if I hear something, then I go and hunt for it. But sometimes we obviously do it by default, just get a Pro Q3 or get any, maybe any digital EQ that you have, and just start boosting frequencies, looking for something to notch out. But sometimes you don't have to do that, except if you hear something that bothers you, then you obviously go and start looking for it. But people just do it by default. Once they grab an EQ, the first thing they do is instinctively start boosting things, looking for what to notch. So many times it's wrong. Obviously, it's only maybe a couple of times that might be the right move, which is why I'm talking about this. So listen, this is just, 4-band EQ, but we were able to use it to craft a mix that just sits well with this piano ballad. So what have we done? I obviously have the dynamic going, which is a bit of compressed, so just hitting -3 dB most times to sort of hold the vocal in place, because as you can see, it's very dynamic. But before that, there's obviously a home work, which is using like a gate. So this Sonarworks Smart Gate is a really great gate plugin. So I've used that to sort of get some, background noise that I heard. We obviously have a gate plugin here, but I still, just prefer this one. So this obviously is the EQ. After that, we have a compressor, some saturations, suit to sort of notch out some harsh frequencies, a bit of the ESA from, my guys at Acoustic Audio. But this is the focus of this video today. So about 15K, we have 2 dB going. That's just to add brightness. Then at about 3K, I have about a dB, just to add more intelligibility to this vocal, because around that 2.5, 3K area, or even 5K, helps the vocal, vocal pronunciation to come out more. Then around 486, between 400 and 500, the boxy area, I'm actually notching it by 1.1 dB. I didn't want to do too much, because doing too much will actually, take away a lot from this vocal, because remember, this is just a piano, so it's not like a full production, so you don't want to thin it out too much. The same with, the low shelf from 230 Hertz, about 2 dB, just pull it down so that it helps with the high pass we currently have, which is at 95 Hertz, and a low pass at 16K. So let's just have a listen to this in solo, with and without.
No one else comes close to you. No one makes me feel the way you do. You're so special, girl, to me, and you'll always be eternally.
Obviously, once we engage this, even though the vocal now sound like it's a bit thinner or, less loud, but it sits more in, even that 3K, we can still push it up a bit more if we want. But I didn't want it to, poke out too much. Let's just have it at 2 dB.
No one else comes close to you.
Yeah, it seems like it's poking out too much now. Because remember, we only have a piano, so this is not full production, right? So this is, using Channelstrip EQ in a nutshell. We didn't have to do too much, just basic mixing moves, and we have a great sounding vocal. Obviously, we have other effects and stuff, but just turning the EQ on and off, you notice how much this is what ties everything together. This is, pure mixing that you don't have to, complicate by, drawing a lot of things like this. Obviously, sometimes you might need it, but first learn to actually have a mix done with bare minimum, right? And then maybe sometimes if you have obviously a mix that is not good, then you can, do all the bells and whistles. So I hope this is helpful, guys. If you have any question about this, leave me a comment down below. And also, even if you appreciate this video, do leave me a comment down below, because it helps the YouTube algo. And also give it a thumbs up. I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye now.